Hi Muthu. Let us discuss today about emotional intelligence. What is this intelligence about?
Hi Sushil. So today let us discuss about emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, the term was recently coined by psychologists, though it is prevalent in centuries back. As the name indicates, emotional intelligence is the intelligence based on your emotions. How you manage your emotions under the stressed conditions is called as emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is how you manage your emotions of yours as well as about others. So, there are few steps regarding emotional intelligence. So, I will tell you what are the steps for emotional intelligence. I'll tell you the brief steps for emotional intelligence. Number one is self awareness. Number two is self management. Number three, social awareness. And number four is relationship management. Now, let us dive deep into the four steps.
Okay, Muthu. Can you please elaborate those four steps?
So, coming to the first step, self awareness. Self awareness is how emotional are you? So, in a day, your emotions may differ. I'll tell you an example. You watch a movie, and after watching the movie, you have some emotions flowing down. Sometimes it may be a happy emotion, it may be sad, it may be angry. So, those are the emotions you need to understand about yourself. So, self awareness is how emotional you are. Now, coming to step two is self management. This step is how you manage your emotions with others. So, that is self management. In our day to day conversation, there are two things. One, how you react and how you respond. What we tend to do is we immediately react. So, reacting is the emotional part, whereas responding is the rational part. Give a pause. So, during the pause, automatically our brain switches from the emotional part to the rational part. So, in that case, what happens is instead of reacting, we respond. So there are people you can identify who are having very low emotional intelligences. They often outburst. They often blame others for their mistake. Coming to step three, that is a social awareness. Social awareness is how you study other person's reaction, how you understand, how you see the reason for others' reaction. For that, you have to develop some soft skills like listening, patience, and be empathetic. So, when you have these, you can really understand the reason for the other person's reaction. The fourth step is about relationship management. So, we understood first how to know your emotions, and when you are identifying your emotions, you are able to manage your emotions under pressure with others, and you also self motivate yourself. The third one is the social awareness. This step is once you thorough all the step 1, step 2, step 3, you are able to manage any conflicts. So this is very useful both in the professional life as well as in the personal life. So once you master this, you will be able to inspire people, you will be able to lead, you will be able to mentor, you will be able to manage any conflicts. It is useful for both professional and personal relationships. In personal relationship, if we see the relationship between an husband and wife, so once you understand the emotional intelligence, is very useful in the personal relationship between a husband and a wife. The conflicts can be greatly reduced.
So you have been explaining about EQ till now. I want to know what is IQ and how is it differ from EQ?
That's a good question, Sushil. IQ is intelligence quotient, whereas EQ is emotional quotient. Coming to IQ, IQ is about the cognitive skills, about your brain development, how it thinks, how it processes. In fact, about the processing speed of your brain is IQ. How intelligent you are, it's about the cognitive ability, it's about how the brain processes, how it works. So it's about the mental exercises which improves your IQ. So to develop IQ, you have to have mental exercises so your IQ develops more. So IQ is evaluated based on the tests and intelligent quotient is evaluated. In short form, IQ is the engine, EQ is the steering. The best example of a person who had a very high IQ is Albert Einstein.
So, Muthu, is this emotional intelligence related to the left side of the brain or the right side of the brain?
So medical studies, they disprove the left and right theory. In fact, emotional intelligence works across both the left side and the right side of the brain. It needs both the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere for the complete emotional intelligence.
So, emotional intelligence is part both of left side and right side brain. So, could you give me some examples of this emotional intelligence?
Yes. Have you seen the movie In Pursuit of Happiness?
Yes,
How was the movie
it was extraordinary.
in terms of?
It is a feel good movie.
So that movie, In Pursuit of Happiness, is a real life experience of Chris Gardner, and Will Smith had acted in that movie. That movie is a perfect example of emotional intelligence. You see many scenes in the movie reflect about the emotional intelligence. This movie is about Chris Gardner's life, the struggles of him. His wife leaves him, he has no job, and he works as an intern without salary, no home. Still, he brings up his son under difficult conditions. Many scenes in this movie reflect emotional intelligence. I will share few scenes of the movie now. One of the scene, Chris Gardner gets arrested for not paying the parking tickets. Next day, he is released from the prison. He goes to attend the interview with paint all over his body. And the interviewer asked him a question. What would you say? The guy walked in without a shirt on and I hired him. Smith says he must have had on some really nice pants. And he gets a job after the interview. Okay, going to the iconic basketball scene where Chris Gardner and his son play basketball. Chris Gardner says to his son, "You cannot excel in this." And the moment when Chris Gardner sees his son getting demotivated, immediately he changes and he says to his son, "Don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do it, not even me. If you want something, go get it, period."
Yes, I have watched the movie In Pursuit of Happiness multiple times. It is a very motivating movie. Could you give some examples of emotional intelligence in this field of sports?
So I'll tell you an example in the game of cricket. I'll take you back to 2007 and 2011. In 2007, the Indian cricket coach was Greg Chappell, and in 2011, the Indian cricket coach was Gary Krishnan. So India will never forget the 2007 World Cup. It was a disastrous World Cup for 2007. Though both Gary Krishnan and Greg Chappell had different leadership skills, but the emotional intelligence played a role in both the tournaments. In 2007, we lost badly, but in 2011, we lifted the World Cup. That's a stark difference which one can see in the emotional intelligence handled by Greg Chappell and Gary Krishnan.
That's quite interesting to know.
I'll take you back to the 2007 first T20 World Cup. It was a final between India and Pakistan. It went to the wire to the last over. The last over was given to Joginder Sharma, an inexperienced bowler by Dhoni. So Dhoni went to Joginder Sharma. He told him, if India wins, you take the credit. If India loses, put the blame on me. So that was a wonderful leadership skill, and that gave confidence to Joginder Sharma, and India won the World Cup. It's an example of emotional intelligence handled by Dhoni.
It is a great leadership by MS Dhoni using his emotional intelligence. Could you please give me some examples from the history?
I'll give you an example from the history. You know about the greatest king in the world, Alexander. So, Alexander had a very low emotional intelligence. So, after conquering many countries, he was not able to succeed because his generals gave up. He was not able to give confidence to his own generals. So, that was the reason after conquering many countries, he was not able to establish further.
Would be interesting to see few examples coming from the politics.
Give you an example of the great former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Kamarajar, and he saw one student not going to the school. So he asked this boy, "Why you did not go to the school?" The boy replied, "I don't have food, so I cannot go to school." That immediately struck Kamaraj. So he provided food for the students so that students can come to the school and study. And what a remarkable achievement was that the literacy rate jumped skyrocketed after this scheme introduced in Tamil Nadu.
We discussed about famous personalities having high EQ. Could you give me a few examples of people who have high EQ and high IQ also?
Yeah, personalities having high IQ and high EQ. Nelson Mandela, he was in the prison for 27 years. After the release from the prison, he was a changed man. He did lot of reforms for South Africa. The next personality I will say is Mahatma Gandhiji, who got freedom for India. And the next example is the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinta. It was a very successful way of handling the terrorist attack in New Zealand.
Great personalities. Could you give me an example of someone who has low IQ and a higher EQ?
I will not name any personalities. Take an example from a fictional movie, Forrest Gump, who had low IQ but a very high EQ.
Forrest Gump is a good example for high EQ and low IQ. Could you give me an example for high IQ and low EQ?
Yeah, Isaac Newton is an example, and another example is Albert Einstein.
Thank you, Muthu. It was a very good interaction in knowing about emotional intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you.